Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears and your eyes. Diva Divine Light, live from Brooklyn, New York.
With no delaying for what you saying, yo. Said it with my 9 million with the dilly, yo. When I be on the mic, yes, I do my duty, yo. While I'm in the club, I be while in the studio. You don't wanna violate, nigga, really and truly, yo. My main thug, nigga named Julio, he moody, yo. I'm a nigga that'll slap me with the tulio. Bitch, nigga scared to death, act fruity, yo. Fuck that, look at shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way you shake it, nigga, you wanna get all in the booty, yo. With no delaying for what you saying, yo.
Diva Divine Light.
Really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
You're watching Diva, the Divine Light. A fun-loving, caring, passionate person who talks about sex, celebrity, and real-life issues, and even abuse. So hit that like button and make sure you share the show.
Really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
Here comes the pitch, and it comes in wide. On the ball.
Yo, 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 yo. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? How are we doing? Everybody getting ready to get off work, packing up, or at home, relaxing, cooking dinner for the family. I hope everybody's well. What's up, family? What's up, family? What's up, OCOV family in the building? How's everybody? I hope everybody's doing good. So I figured we'd come back and finish this, make this a part 2. I didn't think it was going to be that long, but it's going to be a long one, guys, because Jesus Lord. Mm-hmm. So we're doing a part 2 to The Man Behind the Man, written by Demetrius Smith. And we are just taking quotes out from the book and just reading them. All right. And in the meantime, I'll kind of narrate a little bit of the scenes, for those who don't remember and things like that. So even if I remember, because if I don't remember, it is what it is. Y'all already know I rolled off my spliff. I'm feeling right now to go through this. We chilling. All my smokers, throw the smoke up in the chat, please. Thank you. I'm feeling really nice right now, y'all. Let me shout out all my sisters in the building. Sonia Davis was number 1 up in the building, right behind Nexie. Sexy Nexie. My Candy King. Candy. Cherie. What's up, Cherie? Shorty Rara. What's up, Shorty Rara? That's right. Say hello to everyone. I'm glad you caught my live too, Miss Candy. All you girls who are in here. Hey, Kat, what's up, my dear? How are you, lovely? Nanya, my beautiful lady. Nanya, what's up, chuleta? What's up? Just the tea. Girl, you're going to be hearing some tea today. Mr. Smith is off the hook and off the chain with his book. Yes, he is, guys. Yes, he is. The things that were told in this story. Might be a little trigger warning today. I'm not sure. I think we're going through certain pages. Might be a little trigger warning, guys. Trigger warning, okay? If you can't handle talks of suicide and things of this nature, I know it's Mental Health Awareness Month, okay? Please make sure when I go to those scenes, if you want, you can mute it. Don't look at it, whatever, turn it off, turn it away. My page is made only for those 18 and over content. You must verify that you are 18 years old to watch my channel. Okay? This channel is not made for children. Okay? Okay. Just had to let y'all know. Just giving y'all a little trigger warning. Okay? Y'all already know donations are appreciated. You guys got the information for the Cash App and the PayPal and the Zelle. And you can also drop a super chat or a super thanks at the end of the video. The super thanks at the end of the video will pop up. It's a little heart with a $sign. So for those who watch the replay, when you watch the replay, if you want to donate to the channel that way, you can always drop the super thanks. Hit that little star. It's next to the download button because you got share, dislike, share, donate, download, and then I believe it's the super thanks. So it's in that section of the video. All right, guys. So let's get that out the way. His Lordship, yes, my love, my dear. How are you, honey bunch? Guys, give a shout out and give your props to Mr. Lordship for making my intro and my outro for my videos. If anyone would like to have intros and outros made for your channel, he is the technical guy. You kind of give him your idea and he'll kind of run with it, see what he pops up with. If you know exactly what you want, then if he can work with it, he will work with it. His Lordship, do me a favor, my bro, please drop your link in the chat. All content creators, when you come in here, and if you're a moderator, please, as soon as you come in, just say, follow me, this is my channel, and drop your link. All right? You listening from work, Poppy? Okay, baby, no doubt. See, some of those are working now, and some of us are coming home from work. So, as I said, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to some. I've gotten a broader audience in India now. Shout out to India. Shout out to India. Shout out to the UK. Shout out to Austria, I believe it was. Shout out to you guys. Shout out. Yes, please. No, I always tell you guys, come on, you guys already know that shit. Y'all been coming on my channel for a long time now. Y'all should already know the rules of Diva's platform, okay? Like for the supporters who come over here and they want to listen to me read and shit, you can speak, be respectful. I don't care who you are, where you come from, what you do. I don't discriminate. I just discriminate disrespect, okay? Because if you come over here with disrespect, you get disrespected right back. Poop, pat, poop, punched in the eye. You get blocked, deleted. If not, if you're a little crazy, we'll let you take a walk for 5 minutes. You can go take a walk for 5 minutes, okay? Then you can come back, take a breather. We'll time you out, okay? We'll give you an opportunity, a chance. Because Diva's not a mean person. I give everybody opportunity. Okay? All right. So, now that we got that shit out the way. All right. And you're very welcome, Lordship. All right, guys. So, back to Mr. Demetrius Smith and his shenanigans in the 1990s with R. Kelly. Sharice! Sharice! What's up, mamita? Hi, baby. I miss you, honey bunny. How you doing, mama? My voice is a little hoarse. The bud that I've been smoking as of lately has been a little harsh to my throat. Yeah, just a little bit. I've been like gacking and choking my lungs out and shit. Okay, guys, please make sure you hit that like button, okay? Do not forget to hit that like button for your girl. Gracias, gracias. Okay. So, wow, we were already on 173. Is this where we were? I don't think so. Were we? Okay, yeah, I did. We did talk about the honeybees. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure because I forgot where we left it off yesterday. And I didn't move anything. So I just wanted to make sure. All right. So we're on 100. We're on slide 173. Okay. We've went through 173 quotes so far from this book. All right. Now, here he says, right now, in this moment, Demetrius Smith is talking with Michael Houghton, which is the father of Aaliyah. So he's having a conversation with Aaliyah's father, Mike. Okay, so when you hear the name Mike, he's talking about Aaliyah's father. All right, so if you hear Mike in any of these quotes, he is speaking to the father or about the father. Okay. So now he says, he confided in me on how uneasy he was with Aaliyah being out late in the studio all night. When he stated that to me, I was a bit uneasy myself because, for one, I liked Mike, and two, I was feeling the same way. Demetrius was feeling the same way but didn't say nothing. You know, Demetrius, you could have saved a lot of other girls that came after that. You could have saved Aaliyah from R. Kelly if you would have just knew what was going on with Tia and the other girls. If maybe you would have said something then, when Javante and Tiffany and Shonda and Shay and all those girls were hanging out, and Ebony and all of them were coming in and out of his apartment. You seen them and you were like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit in the other room with Larry Hood and Bruce Kelly, and Kelly's just going to be in the other room with all these little girls, and we're just going to sit here playing a card game of spades, smoking cigars, drinking, while he's in the room molesting children. Wow. What a fucking honorable man you are. What morals and integrity you have. All of this shit could have been prevented if you, Larry, and Bruce would have done something from then on. Okay? Instead of hanging out in the next room, keeping a blind eye. All right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know you listening, Dimitri. You've been on my platform before. I know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, he says, Johnny, man, we're supposed to be smoother than the way things are going. He used to tell me when I would constantly call on him to get R. Kelly out and onto the bus. In addition to the concern with the girls, he felt like there was a lack of control when it came to dealing with Rob. So Larry decided he couldn't afford to go on this tour. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm back. I had to take care of the family real quick. Sorry, guys. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. What's up, Rockin'? What's up, Rockin' Robin? What's up, lady? What's up, Boston? Hi, mommy. I'm here. I'm here, guys. I'm here. I had to step off. I had to take care of the family real quick. My son came over here being all crazy. I don't know if y'all heard him in the background. Where's my food? Where's my food? Yes, please don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. Thank you. Or your way out. Gracias. 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 Okay. Sorry, guys. You know, the life of a mom. No, that's okay, mommy. That's okay. No, 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 you're bad nothing. No, 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 no. No. Es que, I got the family in the background always. Gotta tend to them first, So, okay. Alrighty, guys. Let's go back to it. Where the hell? All right. So now he says that Johnny, man, we're supposed to be smooth. I forgot who he was talking to. At the moment. But Johnny, man, we're supposed to be smoother than the way things are going. He used to tell me when I would constantly call on him to get R. Kelly out and onto the bus. In addition to the concern with the girls, he felt like there was a lack of control when it came to dealing with Rob. So Larry decided he couldn't afford to go on this tour. Okay, so who he was talking to was Larry Hood. He was talking to Larry Hood. He was talking to Larry Hood at this time. Because he wanted to hire Larry Hood for a tour again. And he's like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go back because this guy is crazy with these girls. I don't know. Meanwhile, he testified in court. Well, I don't know if I know. I didn't hear. I don't remember any little girls. I don't remember. Oh, but do you remember Aaliyah? Do you remember her posse? Uh, yeah, I remember Aaliyah there. Yeah, yeah, and her posse. Yeah, her little friends. Oh, but you didn't see any little girls? Wow. Please. Things got frustrated after that. R. Kelly started dictating to me. I was the tour manager with no control of his artists. All I knew was that I had to find a way to get control of things. My first priority was to make sure that our drivers were taken care of, meaning money wise and shit, because R. Kelly was a cheap asshole, according to a lot of people. Come on, everybody. I feel like ice cream and a movie. Johnny, go get the car for us. He'd tell me. All together, R. Kelly, Diane, Aaliyah, Tia, Shaw, Shauna, and we would all end up at the movies. Thank you, Nexie. Thank you, Mama, for the super chat. You heard what he just said right there in that sentence, guys. Guys, all together they would go to the movies. But yet, Aaliyah's mother made a statement saying that she don't know none of these little girls. But yet, Demetrius Smith says, well, Rob would be like, come on, everybody. I feel like ice cream and a movie. And then R. Kelly would say to Demetrius, Johnny, go get the car for us. And it would be R. Kelly, Demetrius, Diana, Diane, shall I say, Aaliyah, Tia, also known as Tiffany Hawkins, Sha, which is the girl Shonda, and then Shawana, and I, Demetrius. They would all go together. And we would all end up at the movies. Like a big happy family. Like this. Hey, hey, hey. But Diana Horton don't know none of those little girls that were hanging out with R. Kelly. Because she said that was a lie. Diana was up to no good. Instead of her doing the right thing by her daughter must be rolling in her grave. But Larry, as we know, Larry Hood, who testified in the Eastern District of New York trial, said, Demetrius says, but Larry wasn't okay with everything that went on. And he says a quote, man, Johnny, what's going on, man, with Robert and these girls? But Larry, you didn't know no little girls, right? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm eating some Chinese noodles. They're so good to snack on. So Mr. Larry Hood had a problem with R. Kelly and these girls. According to Demetrius. Then he says, man, how old is them girls? He'd ask me. I told him that I was not there to check IDs. Right, Nexie. He said he never saw them with minors, but yet, he's like, but wait a minute. Espérate. Un momentito, por favor. Wait a second. Hold up. He said, man, Johnny, what's going on, man? With Robert and these girls. Man, how old is them girls? Demetrius is like, I don't know. I don't know, but I ain't checking IDs. That's not my job. These motherfuckers. And Larry Hood was a policeman. Are you fucking kidding me? A lot of these motherfuckers should be sitting right next to R. Kelly. I also told him R. Kelly would change his schedule around to accommodate Aaliyah. Mike was not listening and did not heed to my push to get him to do the right thing for his daughter. He's talking about Mike, guys. Michael Hudson. Diana Hudson's husband, Aaliyah's father. Demetrius said he was trying to warn him and tell him without telling him, like warning him. He told the father, listen, R. Kelly changes his schedule just to accommodate Aaliyah to make sure he's with her. But the father was like on deaf ears and shit, like, oh yeah, my daughter's gonna be a star. I know, I love it. What the fuck? Now he's continuing to talk about Mike. He says, I felt I was telling him in so many words to pull Aaliyah out and insist things run according to the way he wanted it to go. I even made a point of mentioning what I would do if it was my daughter. Wait a minute. And what would that be, Demetrius? What would that be? Of course, you know he ain't even say what it was. Uh-huh. He's like, I even made a point of mentioning what I would do if it was my daughter. You so full of shit. Cause even if it wasn't your daughter, you should have acted. You said you loved her like a daughter. Yeah. She was my responsibility. Uh-huh. You wasn't so responsible then. Right? You're still not responsible now. Mm-hmm. Right. He was oblivious, like durr. He was starstruck too. Now we're back to Larry. Larry Hood. So now Larry went with us on the first 2 tours. But like me, he was frustrated with the realization that he didn't have any control or say so with R. Kelly. So Larry Hood and Demetrius Smith had no control over R. Kelly. And Larry Hood was the security. If Larry Hood's like, no, I don't think this girl should come in. No, don't worry, man. Let her come. Let her come. Nah, man. Let her come in. I said, damn it. And he's like, okay, go ahead. I got to do my job. I got to get paid. So I got to do my job. Instead of doing the right thing, I got to do my job. And he was a police officer, guys. This is a police officer from the Chicago PD. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then he said Rob wouldn't listen to anyone anymore. R. Kelly was taking over Robert. His personalities were taking over. Everybody's focus turned to Aaliyah, and we were intrigued by the hype of the video and the next step in her career. R. Kelly spent a lot of time charming the family. He's talking about Diane and Mike. He spent a lot of time charming them, grooming the parents, guys, grooming the parents. That's what he was doing. And then he says, I let it go because I hadn't seen anything other than something that didn't look. I forgot what he says there. But it didn't look good. In other words, I think that's what he said, but it didn't look good. Now, he says, it didn't take R. Kelly long at all to finish Aaliyah's debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. The next tour was the next level up. We were booked as a co-headliner act. People were paying big bucks to see us. Now remember, Addie testified that she went to the concert in Florida, and it was a headliner of R. Kelly with Aaliyah, and Aaliyah is the reason why she went to go see the show, not because of R. Kelly, because of Aaliyah. And then she was raped backstage by R. Kelly, and he had just got married to Aaliyah. Right after he had sex with Aaliyah, he had her in the room after they got married for 45 minutes. He, como se dice, when you have like a honeymoon, you consummate your marriage. He consummated his marriage with her for 45 minutes in the room, left, took a flight from Chicago back to Florida to finish his show. And while he was there, he raped a 16 or a 17-year-old girl. What was she? I forgot. 16, I think. What? This is the girl, Addie, that testified. And she gave the impact statement. She was the Spanish girl. Does anybody know who she is? Does anybody know who Addie is? That's the girl Prada, the Colombian girl from Florida. And he says, the thought of being in her company was all about fun. She tickled me. Lisa Ray was just so much more mature and jazzy. I had the confidence of a real Mac. I kid you not. The way I saw things, I was gonna say the right thing to make an impression on her. And he's talking about Lisa Ray. Demetrius Smith thought he was a pimp. Looking the way he looked, he was a pimp. He was a pimp in his head. Then R. Kelly makes this statement about Aaliyah. He says to Demetrius Smith, is what he says to Demetrius. He tells him, man, she inspires me, he said, of Aaliyah. He said that Aaliyah inspired him. He was somewhat tender-hearted. Benevolent would be a better way to put it. Producing a platinum album for Aaliyah was a priority goal for him. Yeah, I bet it was. So he could bang her out every time he got a chance. Uh-huh. To suspect and actually tell on someone just because something didn't look right didn't mean it wasn't right. You hear what he said? He's talking about his suspicions with Aaliyah and R. Kelly. He's like, to suspect and actually tell on someone just because something didn't look right didn't mean it wasn't right. What a fucking jerk off. And then he said, and to set myself out and accuse someone on assumption, I wasn't ready to do that. I give out indications and subliminal hints to my suspicions, and that was all I could do. That was all he could do, guys. That was all he could do. What? No, she was 17 or 16, right? Sharice. She was 17 or 16 years old, something like that. You're absolutely right. Right, Nexie. They were all in the movies together. Right. But they don't remember none of the little girls that were around R. Kelly because they didn't go to the movies. They never hung out. They never saw these girls ever. But according to Demetrius, they were all over the place. It was so much so that the adults that were with the children acted like the children. Remember that? Remember that? Yeah. Then he says, I created an itinerary. Oh, wait, did I read that? Wait, I did, right? Yeah. Okay. Then he says, I created an itinerary for Diane that informed her of the things R. Kelly lined up for Aaliyah. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I would pick up Aaliyah to have lunch. After lunch, Aaliyah would go to the studio with R. Kelly, where he arranged for her to have vocal training. Why were the police in R. Kelly's suite? Okay, we're going back to the police at the hotel with the bodyguard Tyree, where the guy Tyree was accused of rape. Okay. He states here, why were the police in R. Kelly's suite? And Tyree was telling me that R. Kelly had invited a monster to his room. Now remember in the video before this one, he had stated that the girl was a monster lie. She was the monster of lies. So they're calling this victim a monster. And Tyree had said to Demetrius that R. Kelly invited the girl to his room. He said those were the words he used in describing a girl they had been entertaining. I just shook my head. This boy was crazy. Then he says an hour later, the driver would show up ready to drive 8 to 12 hours to the next city. Talking about the bus drivers. We would all be on the bus waiting for Rob to finish his personal autograph sessions. Every time he would have to have an autograph session, he had to have all his fans come to see him and sign autographs, do a meet and greet, give out his phone number, rape women, girls behind the scenes, throw everybody out the dressing room if he had to do what he had to do. Bus drivers would be sitting there waiting for him like, come on, we got to go. I got to be on the road at this time. We got to be here at this time. I don't like to be late. And R. Kelly's doing shenanigans at every single show. When they went overseas, it didn't happen as much because overseas they had rules and regulations, and R. Kelly had to go by those rules and regulations. So he says, we drove to the hotel where Rob and Aaliyah were staying, picked them up, and then we drove around City Hall in Maywood, Illinois, to investigate what we would need in order to get a marriage license. So before they went and got the marriage license, they drove to the hotel where they were both staying together. He picked them up, and then they drove around the city in Maywood, Illinois, around City Hall to investigate what was needed in order to get a marriage license. So that's when he found out that he needed the 3 pieces of ID and this, that, and the third. Right? He says, I wanted him to take a stand with me to convince R. Kelly that marrying Aaliyah was not the right thing to do. Now he's talking about Daryl McDavid. He wanted Daryl McDavid to take a stand with him to convince R. Kelly that marrying Aaliyah was not the right thing to do. But Daryl McDavid felt that in R. Kelly's association with Aaliyah, he had committed a felony offense. And he felt that the only way to protect R. Kelly was to help him do whatever needed to be done to get them married. Yeah, that's what I said. We need Tyree. Tyree, why was Tyree not around? Why didn't they call Tyree? What happened with Tyree? You see, like I said, some of these security guards and stuff like that, they needed to put some of these real up close and personal security guards on the stand at the Eastern District of New York trial. I don't understand why they didn't do that. I really just don't. Maybe they tried to, but they couldn't find these people. Maybe they were out of the country. You don't know. Maybe R. Kelly paid off some people before all this shit happened. You know what I mean? It was like, listen, if the cops call or come to you, yo, please leave the country or whatever. Like, here's $1,000. Cause you're a cheap motherfucker. Here's $1,000. Go take a trip to Florida. Whatever. Like, what? You never know. You know what I mean? He's done it before. That's probably why he didn't have much of a defense to back it up. And besides that, how can he fight all that evidence that was against him? It was hard to do that. So now, man, Johnny, this girl was so ugly and nasty, man. I don't know why dude even had her up there. Now, this is what Tyree is saying about the girl. Tyree says, man, Johnny, this girl was so ugly and nasty. Man, I don't know why dude, meaning R. Kelly, even had her up there. Man, if I would have bought a dick already hard to use on her, it would have went soft, ugly as she was. Tyree said of the girl they had in the room. Called her a monster. The monster girl. Shame on you. Mm-hmm. Then he says, I strongly believed whoever was filling Rob's head with the idea that marrying Aaliyah would make this right wasn't someone that was truly in his corner and looking out with his best interests at heart. Nonetheless, it was a deep wound for many and not one that was going to heal without leaving a scar. So my thing is, he was so bothered about this situation. Why did you help them? You should have been like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Find out yourself. I ain't part of this shit. Because you wanted to be, the guy with the blind eye, and turn your look the other way because, this was happening, but you're looking the other way. But you feel like this is happening, but you're looking the other way because you needed to get paid. You couldn't find another job, though, but you needed to get paid. Right. And this tragedy left a big scar on a lot of people. You are absolutely right. People are still healing from this shit. Okay? 30-something years later, damn it. Hey, Karen A., what's up, mama? Tyree Jamieson? Okay. Now he says here, I don't know, but We're going to have to get it done. He answered with a confused look on his face. I thought Daryl and whoever was associating with R. Kelly with had poisoned the boy's mind. Rob had changed into a whole other person. So this is what he's saying that about Daryl McDavid and R. Kelly with the decision that they were making to marry Aaliyah. Like he was the angel. This was crazy. How were we going to get through this without causing ill feelings with Barry? I thought. This was all disrespectful to Barry and Aaliyah's family. But you didn't do anything to prevent it, Demetrius. You didn't do anything. Come on, girl. Go with me. You and I got to have to talk about this. You talking about dressing me when you got on them old school Knickerbocker jeans. Art Kelly and I burst out laughing. Now, he said this to Lisa Ray because she, was having a conversation with him, whatever. And he distracted her from, remember when she said about the party? She's like, listen, Rob, I'm here to let you know I'm not with the shenanigans and your late night parties and your bullshit. I'm not with none of that. Okay. And if that's what's going to happen, let me know now because I ain't doing this. And then that's when he deflected by saying, come on, girl, go with me. Coming to the tour, come with the tour so you could style her. And he's like, you and I got to have this talk about this, making fun of her stylist, being, with her style, whatever. So now Daryl McDavid was R. Kelly's personal business manager. He was handling all of Robert's money, as well as all of his affairs. Now, since Barry and was no longer in the picture, Daryl is a white guy who wants to be black. I can't. He said. Daryl is a white guy who wants to be black. Really, Demetrius? Mm. I didn't know what I was saying, but I felt sorry for him. I know I'd want to kick his ass disrespecting me and my family, but by me being Robert's right-hand man, I was trying to get Robert to feel we could somehow make some sense out of what he did and make it easy for him to make better decisions. This is what he's saying about R. Kelly marrying Aaliyah. Like, I didn't know what I was saying, but I felt sorry for him. He was consoling him and stuff like that, like, and this and this. And he's like, I want to kick his ass, though, for disrespecting me because, he says he was in charge of the little girl, right? While the parents weren't around. He was supposed to be like her chaperone, So Demetrius is saying that R. Kelly disrespected him and the family. Okay. Then I thought about how R. Kelly betrayed Craig Hodges' trust with actions that led us all to assume that he had been with his wife. Now, Craig Hodges was Demetrius' sister's husband, who was a basketball player, I believe, for, I forgot what team, but he was a basketball player. Now he says, I thought R. Kelly had a bit more sense and respect for Barry Hankerson and his family and would not violate their trust. Because R. Kelly violated their trust. You think that R. Kelly would learn from what he went through with Craig Hodges, right? So this is what he's saying in this quote. Then he says, when I told Robert I had to call Barry about the video crew wanting additional money to transport the equipment to the next city, he told me to call Daryl. He said whatever I needed to talk to Daryl about it. So now, more or less, like he was saying, it was more where Daryl McDavid started taking more and more control after the incident that happened with a Leon Barry. Now he says, that's what's wrong with Rob, man. Nobody is letting him know. You okay? Nobody is letting him know when he's wrong. Everybody's looking over everything he does, and he's getting reckless. He's thinking his money will get him out of everything, making him think his shit don't stink. I was furious as I explained to Daryl how I felt. Now, give me 1 second, guys. All right. Sorry about that, guys. My mom came up and stopped by for a moment. Sorry. You know. Hey, honey bunny. What's up, mama? What's up, Karen A? What's up, Ty? Hey, Damien. What's up, baby boy? What's up? Yeah, RK has messed up a lot of families. Why does he feel he doesn't have to pay his employees for their services for work? Family first, damn R. Kelly. Right. You're absolutely right. Okay, so let's get back into this. So he explained to Daryl McDavid that he was furious about the situation. Then he says, I tried talking to R. Kelly's posse when I could get a chance to speak to them one-on-one. I was hopeful that they would understand the importance of us working together with me to protect R. Kelly for the longevity of his career. Like the prosecutor said, everybody did what they could to cover up things and to protect R. Kelly. That was their job. Now it says he and Barry would oppose the salaries because they felt no one in our camp was on the professional level to receive the pay, as they said, professionals received, unfortunately. So, in other words, Barry Hankerson and R. Kelly was saying that they were giving out money, you know, when they were working together before Daryl McDavid came about. Barry was opposed to the salaries because he felt that, you know, if you're a director and you have a degree or whatever it is that you need to say that you're professionally a director, or in that title field for sure, like you have a professional portfolio and your resume is long, you will only get a minimum salary as opposed to the salary you should be getting working under that particular title. So this is what he was saying, that R. Kelly and Barry were explaining to them and why his pay rate and shit was the way it was. So Robert and the posse started avoiding me. They would see me coming one way and they would go another way. Robert bought walkie-talkies as a new way of communicating. So he's trying to go around. In other words, R. Kelly was just slowly just taking control of everything. Fuck what Demetrius Smith was trying to do. R. Kelly was becoming the CEO of his own brand, knocking out his compadres, you know, kind of like what they do on these YouTube streets, because there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians, right? Right. That's the problem. R. Kelly got to be the only chief, and he could have his all these Indians around him. But he's got to be the only chief. So now he says that after her vocal lessons, Aaliyah would return to R. Kelly's condo with her mom. Now remember, he was explaining to the father how her schedule would be. You know, that she would go eat, then do this, and then she would go to the studio and she would do that, and blah, 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 blah. So now he explained that after her vocal lessons with R. Kelly and shit, Aaliyah would return to R. Kelly's condo with her mom. Now, remember, I told you that they were staying, Aaliyah and her mom were staying with R. Kelly in his condo. And I believe that at this point in time is where Lisa Van Allen's story picks up from, where R. Kelly told her that the mom was sleeping with him and he was also sleeping with Aaliyah. He'd be in one room with her and then be in another room with the other. Now, R. Kelly gave them the key to the city. I saw to it that wherever they wanted to go, whatever they wanted to do, and whatever they needed was made available for them. That's why R. Kelly treated them the way he did, because they were a mother and daughter tag team. So he had to make sure that he had everything perfect and that they got everything they needed and they wanted. Because he needed to treat them good so that they don't flip on him. He had to groom the mother and the daughter to do as they are told and whatever it is that they wanted. Whatever he wanted, shall I say, from them. So now he says, as I stood there talking to Mike, now remember, Mike is Aaliyah's father. As I stood there talking to Mike, I tried to give him a hinting suggestion indicating that he should not allow Aaliyah to record late at night. I told him to tell R. Kelly and Barry that he wanted Aaliyah to record in the daytime and that he wasn't comfortable with her being out at night. When it was time for Aaliyah to come to Chicago, R. Kelly wanted her and her family to be totally comfortable. He offered them his apartment in Lake Point Towers on the 36th floor, overlooking Chicago's skyline. So this is where he was living, in the condo where Aaliyah and her mom stayed for that week or two, whatever it was, 2 weeks, I think it was, something like that, while they were doing training for her vocals and stuff like that, when she first started out with R. Kelly. So, like we said, at this point that this was going on with the condo situation, this is now 1993. Like Javante testified in court, he did do something with this little girl on the tour bus when she was 13. She was 13 when she started out. When he had her behind the scenes and he was grooming her and teaching her vocal lessons and getting her album, preparing her for her album, working with her on her album. In these couple of months, things happened. In a couple of weeks, all this shit transpired with him. And slowly but surely, up until they married each other, he was abusing her. You know, he ate up her little mind and convinced her that he loved her and they were going to get married and they can't wait to have kids and all this shit. He was gassing her head up. I know he was. He was gassing her up to fall in love with him. Now, Demetrius Smith is going to talk about this girl, Mia and Jenna. These are two girls from the hood. One of those girls is one of the girls who's made that comment to R. Kelly about getting her a drink. And he's like, bitch, no, I'm not getting you a drink. What the fuck you think I look like? And she's like, R. Kelly, you better not forget who you is, boy. Like, what? These are the college girls, right? So Mia and Jenna would keep me informed of when their friends were out of school. So we all would get together on the weekends. We'd play all sorts of games with them. We'd play spades, pity pat, Monopoly, spin the bottle, and innocent kissing games. So he's hanging out with college girls with R. Kelly and they're playing kissing games and Monopoly and things of this nature and stuff. Yeah. Oftentimes, when I would go to Robert's apartment to hang out, I would end up leaving because it was so uncomfortable being older and hanging around kids. Hanging around kids. That's all R. Kelly did, was hang around kids. When it was time to shoot the video, Aaliyah's whole family came up with her. At the video shoot, which was on the top level of the parking lot next door to CRC Studio on Ohio Street, Aaliyah's dad, Mike, and I were talking while we were shooting the video. So that's when they was talking and having a conversation about Aaliyah and stuff like that. He emphasized that he didn't like it and that he didn't want me getting into it with his boys, but he knew I was right. But what he did do, he went undercover with him and his boys. He tried keeping things from me on the down low. So at this point, he's talking about the boys, his entourage and shit like that. And R. Kelly, because at this point, Demetrius Smith was telling R. Kelly, listen, I don't like how your boys are acting, da 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 da. They're bringing these girls in and out. They're going to get you in trouble. And R. Kelly's like, listen, do me a favor. I don't need you getting into trouble with my boys. I don't need you getting into it with my boys. Okay? So I need you to just back off of them. Okay? So now this is when he said that they got walkie-talkies and now everybody's ignoring Demetrius and R. Kelly's running the show. This was part of that. Like I said, some of it got out of order. I'm telling you, a lot of it is out of order. And I wasn't going to keep fixing. I was kind of frustrated with that shit. It was just taking too long. So now, oftentimes when I would go to Robert's apartment to hang out, I would end up leaving because it was uncomfortable being around and hanging around kids. Okay, I said that already. Okay. The ladies turned on their sex appeal to try to persuade the judges, which were Barry Hankerson. Okay, remember that he said he had put on Demetrius had put an audition together to hire dancers for R. Kelly, and he wound up hiring the 3 girls, the honeybees, and which was Andrea and the other 2 girls. So this is part of this. He said that the ladies turned on their sex appeal to try to persuade the judges, which were Barry Hankerson, Daryl McDavid. Daryl McDavid was sitting there as a judge with Barry Hankerson, which I could see him being a judge, Wayne Williams, R. Kelly, Dr. Love, and I. All these guys were judging these women to be R. Kelly's background dancers. And he says, we were really impressed by the turnout. This was a serious audition. Now he says, I knew Aaliyah was special, especially in Robert's eyes. For the next couple of months, we stayed in the studio. So like I said, he was in the studio with them for a couple of months. So all this was happening within the couple of months. Now, her birthday's in January. Didn't, I believe her album Age Ain't Nothing But a Number dropped when? In 1994, right? Because in 1993, they were working on the album. Because I believe it dropped in February, which was like after her birthday. Because her birthday's in January, right? So now he says, however, my consistent hassling the posse led to them running to R. Kelly, complaining that I had a problem with them bringing girls to the hotels and to the shows. Robert and I talked about it, but he didn't debate with me about it either. So he brought it up to him like, listen, your people's got problems. My people got problems. They spoke about it, right? And nothing happened. It didn't matter. Nothing happened. They were still bringing young girls around R. Kelly, still letting the young girls in. Instead of saying, no, you look too young. Let me see ID. That shit look fake. Get out of here. You know what I mean? They didn't do none of that. Nobody was there to protect R. Kelly. They were there to feed R. Kelly. Hand and foot. Serve R. Kelly. Hand and foot. Then he says, I knew it would probably eliminate me from being Aaliyah's tour manager as well. And working for Aaliyah and R. Kelly would have made life a whole lot better for me. But now my dreams were being shattered. I asked as the plane was making its descent into Chicago's O'Hare Airport. I can't call Barry, Johnny, he said sadly. This was R. Kelly talking to Demetrius. They were on their way to the airport. Daryl said that he spoke to a lawyer who said that in order for me not to go to jail, I would have to marry Aaliyah. Man, so that's what I need to do, he said, as if he had no vision at all to try seeing things rationally. It didn't matter what anybody said. He was doing just that. He wasn't trying to hear nobody. His lawyer said, go get married. That's what he said he was going to do. Go get married. Now, there was to be no personal interviews and no meetings with anyone for them. R. Kelly did not want any of us who traveled with him to talk to the girls. They were R. Kelly's girls, so it was hands off. Okay, so remember Lisa Ray threw a pajama party and R. Kelly and his crew was invited. And now he's talking about the pajama party. The pajama party was like a christening for us. We were entertained by the finest of young college students who were celebrating our success with us, but keeping us grounded with the reality that we are the same people from yesterday. Then he says, he would tell me he was tired and he and Aaliyah were going to chill for an hour or so before going back to work. I need to work with her, Aaliyah, on her vocals in a private setting. He would tell me this. He would tell Demetrius that he's going to chill for an hour or so more and that he needed to work with Aaliyah on her vocals in a private setting. Demetrius Smith said he was tired. He don't really want, What? He wanted to control everything and everybody, and he was always right about everything. There was no listening. It was his way or no way at all. He had changed. He became egotistic and self-centered. These women had their own. They were independent women and around the same age as Robert, if not older. I'm just saying that to say Robert had choices. Robert had choices, But instead, he decided to hang out with the little girls. He didn't go with the big girls, the grown women, the women, the ladies. He went out with little girls, teenagers, teenage boppers, teeny boppers. Okay. Okay. It was time to meet up with Aaliyah again. R. Kelly and I drove to Detroit to meet with Aaliyah and her family. So at this point, he's 1992 because this is when he met Aaliyah. R. Kelly had laid down some tracks and wanted to go over some vocals with her. The hospitality was the same when we got to Aaliyah's house. Finding a security person to work for R. Kelly, who at the same time would report to me, wasn't easy. I had to find someone who I could truly relate with and would work with me to accommodate my dilemma. Someone who would go against the grain after every show. More than anybody, I wanted Larry Hood. So he wanted Larry Hood because he felt like Larry Hood and him could communicate, and he had trust in Larry that Larry would do the right thing. Larry would make sure that R. Kelly wasn't around little girls. So R. Kelly's sleeping habits were like that of a vampire. He would sleep all day and work all night. His day never began until nighttime. After sitting around all day watching television and playing basketball, it was around 11 o'clock at night when R. Kelly decided to go over some vocals with Aaliyah. So you know he had to convince them parents to have her out late night. Mm-mm-mm. That's crazy. Yes, he wrote the book in 2011. Let's see. Next, see, would anyone of us would work for free? Speaking for myself, hell no. Hell no, I would not work for free. A lot of these people worked for free or they worked for a little to nothing. Basically, that's what they worked for, little to nothing. And then wound up being complicit in some of these crimes. You know? Now, he says that as a matter of fact, he insisted they stay at his place, and he in turn would stay at the Best Western Hotel. But Aaliyah's mom, she was not with Robert putting himself out. So they all stayed together at his place. Then there was R. Kelly. Okay, now there was two sides. He was explaining two sides to R. Kelly. He was like, there was Robert and then there was R. Kelly. So here he says, then there was R. Kelly. He was totally opposite. He cared about himself and he took selfishness to another level. Mike and Diane had already retired for the evening, and I decided to do the same, leaving R. Kelly and Aaliyah alone to work with R. Kelly after 11 o'clock and midnight. This is when he was doing his abusing and using. It was when Aaliyah was out from under her mother that is when her and Robert would take off and be alone together. A few times I dropped them off at his apartment. No, I didn't say anything to anyone other than me asking Robert what he was doing. Daryl was hired as Robert's accountant to make sure that R. Kelly got to see firsthand what his money was being spent on. He told him that being with him on the tour would give them an idea of what to expect when it was their turn to venture out. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion about it. What Robert wanted, Robert got. This is what he was telling the parents. R. Kelly was telling the parents. He told the parents that being with him, Aaliyah's parents, that with her being on the tour would give them an idea of what to expect when it was their turn to venture out. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion about it. What Robert wanted, Robert got. Doesn't that sound familiar, guys? Isn't that what he did with the Clarys and the Savages? And I'm pretty sure he did that with Precious Way and anybody else that tried to come in after that. Right. Right. When they met Rob, he insisted they all call him Robert or Rob. He told them R. Kelly was just a show business name. Aaliyah was starstruck by his presence. As young as she was, it was only natural in her girlish way. She was a giggly little sweetheart. And this is when he first met Aaliyah. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Uh, Hey, Purple Purple. What's up, Mama? Good evening. Yeah. Yeah, Sharice. He conveniently said old and he was on meds. So then he says, I was glad to get back home after that first tour, especially since I had gotten real frustrated with R. Kelly's disposition to control everyone. He really started to get on my nerves with having the young girls around and with how he was treating the media and fans. He once told me, man, he's talking about R. Kelly, that R. Kelly told him, man, I see myself in an audience looking up on the stage and I hear the ladies shouting and see them reaching out to me. When my vision begins to view the stage, my mind goes blank, and in the darkness, I can only hear them screaming his name. Then he says, Robert was just a kid with a bunch of groupie friends that were willing to do whatever it took to be in his presence, including you, Demetrius, including you. Don't forget, you're part of that groupie, okay? You were a groupie, just like everybody else. Wanted to mooch off of him, right? Right. Don't forget about you. Okay. Then he says, we all reached out for help when we're in need. And for a lot of us, no one hears our cries. Fucking boo-hoo, Demetrius. Boo-hoo. Spare me the fucking violin, okay? I'm eating my dinner in the background, guys. Next, he says how Barry Hankerson told him that because they were minors, they would need permission slips signed by their parents in order to go with us. Now, pay attention to that sentence. Barry Hankerson now told Demetrius that in order for the girls, Javante, Tiffany, and all of them, in order for them to go on the tour, they need permission slips. And then they can go. He says he wasn't with the idea of allowing these young girls to travel on the road with us. But according to Robert, they were his next production. Remember what R. Kelly said? I'm producing these girls. That's why they're working with me. That's why they're here in the studio. I got this one doing vocals. They dance with Aaliyah. They're in her videos. They could come on tour with us. They're part of the crew. Yes, they're part of the crew. Uh-huh. Now, I wonder where R. Kelly got the idea again for the permission slip, like we did with like he did with Azriel. You got to get a permission slip, honey. You need a permission slip to go on the road with me. Right? That's what we got to do, because that's what my lawyer said. Then he says, the thing I like the most about the shows we did was the fact that after every show, we were rushed off the stage and onto the bus. Now he's talking about when they were overseas in Amsterdam and in the Netherlands when they went to visit the Netherlands. He's stating that he liked going to those type of shows because they would get off the stage, they were rushed off the stage, and then they had to go straight onto the bus. There was no meet and greet after shows because of the distance we had to travel every night to make it back to the hotel. The drivers there were not about to be held up waiting on the artist. So in other countries, it's a little different. R. Kelly wasn't allowed to do that, at least in the Netherlands. Now he says, we prayed to God, asking him to cover Robert from the evil which was lurking. However, during our prayer, we did not add any scriptures, which today I know would have allowed God to hear him. This was all so weird and new to me. And for Robert to be as distressed as he was, I began to believe in demons myself. He said, I wasn't feeling open enough to allow my buddies and coworkers to suspect in any way that I was anxious to spend my money on sex. This is in the Netherlands. I had never done it like that. Just straight out give some money to some woman for her to get naked. This was game for me, and I wanted to have fun, but not spend my money. So he wanted to have fun with girls, but he didn't want to spend his money on a girl, to pay for the sex. Now he says that there were these two young, beautiful women, in particular, Mia and Jenna. I became very fond of them. They were sisters. Mia liked her some Robert Kelly, but I have to think she was too much of a woman for Robert. He says we even tried to create a book. Okay, I did that one. Oh, okay. I think I did. He said that we even tried to create a board game we called 12 Play. We used to have some fun times. Rod Strickland, who played for the New York Knicks at the time, used to hang out with us at Mia's house sometimes. I felt like these ladies kept us grounded. These were ladies with high respect for themselves. Okay. Now he says, I got in touch with Dr. Love, who was a host of the radio show for WGCI radio station. Dr. Love and I met at the Cotton Club. He too believed in R. Kelly and was supportive by giving us promotional time on his radio show. Every night at 11 p.m., he would inform the listeners of the date and times for the audition. Now, he's talking about the audition for the dancers. Our rehearsals were open to the public, which consisted of young girls. If they were 18 years old, that was a good thing. However, from my knowledge, they were still at Kenwood Academy. Now, Kenwood Academy, which was a junior high school, the same school Robert had gone to. So when they did these dance rehearsals, a lot of the girls who did come for the rehearsals were little junior high school girls. Junior high school girls were there to audition. Now he says the final outcome and decisions came from R. Kelly. He knew exactly what he wanted. The three dancers he chose were Asante Beasley, who we called Sam, and then Vivian China Edwards, who we called China, and Andrea Lee, who we called Baby Girl, who later became R. Kelly's wife. So those were the girls. Asante, Vivian, and Andrea. These were the girls who R. Kelly named the honeybees. Okay? Now, Sharon Winbush had made a statement about Andrea and China sleeping together with R. Kelly. When she was fighting with Andrea. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was pregnant. Mm-hmm. Sharon Winbush said she was allegedly pregnant by R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. Now, it was the fall in 1992, late evening, when Robert and I headed to Detroit to meet up with Barry. It was in the fall of 1992, guys. Now, Aaliyah was 12, and in January, she turned 13 of 1993. So, like I said, when he was making the music with her, that he went back a few months later after this first trip, he went back and they talked to the parents and all of that. That's when the mother came down and stayed in Chicago with Aaliyah. She was 13, guys. R. Kelly had sex with Aaliyah at the age of 13. Just put the timeline together. Put the timeline together. So he said he would then take us over to meet his niece Aaliyah and her family. Larry, Tori, and DJ Mouse, another buddy of ours, were tailing along with us in a separate car. So these guys, the security, the stylist, the DJ, and another buddy, along with Demetrius and Robert, went down to go see Barry Hankerson to meet Aaliyah. Now he's talking about, again, he went back to talking about Amsterdam. He says, then we came upon the red light district. There we walked down the streets of Amsterdam to do a little window shopping. We were amazed at the live mannequins that were in the windows. Never would we have imagined such a thing. We looked like little boys seeing naked women for the first time, going from window to window. Wow! And they were beautiful women too. So while they were down there in the Netherlands, they went to the red light district in Amsterdam and they saw the brothels and all these things. And he says, I didn't like the idea of inviting the young girls along. I figured there would be a woman for us in every place we were traveling. But this is what Robert wanted. Robert wanted to have the little girls around him, guys. He wanted to have the little girls around him. He didn't want the women. He wanted the little girls around him. Robert was just amazed with the newfound power he was learning he had with people. It was his free will to spend money that brought all the flies in. Including you, Demetrius, including you. Now, back to talking about Aaliyah. She really wants to be a singer. And if she's got what it takes and you can help her do a project in the studio, then I want to be behind her and give her whatever she needs. And if she's not ready, I think she'll know. She's a real smart girl, top of her class in school, Barry said proudly of his niece. So this is what he was saying to R. Kelly about Aaliyah. And this was Barry speaking. Vibe was the first single off of the album, and we were on a promotional tour. This is the tour where R. Kelly took Aaliyah and the girls, Javante and all of them. They were going on the promotional tour where he had his first single, Vibe. And he took Aaliyah with him so she can see how it is to be touring and what it would be like for her. He did the same thing to Azriel. What he did with Aaliyah, he did with Azriel. He said, the women in Amsterdam were awesomely beautiful, and we were all amazed at what was available to us for just a few bucks. But I still was not into it like that. These women were some pretty ladies standing in the windows wearing sexy lingerie, advertising their loveliness, all shapes and sizes, selling their bodies. Okay. Next thing you know, Robert was signing autographs and looking over the top of his glasses to his group of female body snatchers, indicating to them which girl he was interested in. There were so many women. You hear what he's saying here? For all you supporters who don't believe that the girls were coming to R. Kelly, no, I'm sorry, the supporters who believe that the girls were flocking to R. Kelly. Well, they were, because they went to sign autographs. They went to his shows. They paid for his concerts to see their favorite artists perform. It so happens to be that Robert was signing autographs and looking over the top of his glasses to his group of female body snatchers. Who do you think are the female body snatchers? His entourage and his security who had his number in business cards or folded up on paper, and he was giving them out to women as he's giving autographs. He's picking out the women. He's looking out from his shades off the top, looking at his bodyguards and going, yeah, that one over there. See her over there, pointing, nodding his head. Yeah, that one. That's the one over there. But yet there were so many women, but he was looking at the little girls. Now he began telling me he felt something he had. Now this is R. Kelly kind of making a confession to Demetrius. R. Kelly comes out talking to him and saying, Demetrius says, he began telling me he felt something had a hold on him. So then R. Kelly says to Demetrius, these tapes, Johnny man, I can't seem to control myself, taping myself with my girls, man. And I know this ain't right. And it's going to end up getting me in trouble. I know, he said, looking grievously vexed. R. Kelly is like, these tapes. This is now 1992. And he's talking about these tapes. He can't control himself. He has to tape all his sexual encounters. Every last one of them. He has no control. He knows he's going to end up getting in trouble one day. Now, he says, the hardest part was keeping rehearsals closed to the young girls that used to come by. Later, after rehearsals, they would end up in the apartment with Robert. He stopped listening to me. He began to have parties after rehearsals. So they were having rehearsals, and then after the rehearsals, R. Kelly would have a party, and it was closed, a party just for the young girls. It was closed to the young girls that used to come by. It was closed. It was closed to them. But then later, they would end up in the apartment anyway. So the rehearsal was closed to the girls, but later on, he would end up in the apartment with the girls. Like, what? He says, it took 7 years to get him here from the first day he and I met at the Kenwood Academy High School Talent Show. That's where he met R. Kelly, at the high school talent show. Oh, how far we had come. It was like a Cinderella night every night. So he felt like a slave every night. And he felt like Cinderella at a ball every night. Now he says, they let it be known by keeping our table surrounded with beautiful women. They were the self-proclaimed street team. They didn't have a problem with keeping it real when Rob would appear to be on an ego trip. Jenna, now remember that I told you about that comment about the girl that she said, oh, but you could get me the drink, da-da-da-da. This is who he's talking about, Jenna. This is what he was talking about. This is how it started. He said, I came to learn that Robert was repetitious with what he wanted in every city. So he was constantly repeating his routines in every city. He liked to play ball and go to the mall. In the malls, R. Kelly and his crew would pass out notes to the young ladies they met, and on the notes was information to the hotel where we were staying. So now he's handing out numbers and room numbers. Here's my room number. Here's my hotel key. You can have it. Please make sure you come see me, okay? When Robert would come toward me in the mall, I would ask whoever was next to me, wow, ain't that dude, R. Kelly? He's the one just came out with that new song, Vibe. The people would look at him approaching and began to spread the word of R. Kelly being in the mall. So that's how he got the crowds to flock to R. Kelly, by going over to a person and like just whispering something next to them. Now, this one time she asked Robert, he told her, Jenna, come on now. That's when she had asked about the drink. And Rob said, he told her, Jenna, come on now, seemingly as if he was too big to be serving her. Jenna went off on him. I figured Robert would do what he needed to do to overcome his situation. I didn't ask again. I noticed that he never threw away his camera. Remember the videotape situation, right? And how he was feeling about the videotapes. I noticed that he never threw away his camera. He always kept that with him. I figured if he really felt that what he was doing was a danger to him, that he would do the right thing and get rid of that goddamn camera. But he didn't. They were strict on their work hours, and by law, he's talking about other countries. He said that they were strict on their work hours, and by law, they could only drive for a certain length of time. It was a shame because the women in the Netherlands were 10-1. It was 10 women to every one man. I can't say it enough. The women were beautiful. I don't think I saw an out of shape fat girl or an ugly girl there the entire time. Then he says, I don't think he looked at Tia or the other girls as being underage girls. Hell, they hung out like young women when they came around the studio, and they didn't seem to have a curfew. That's because a lot of them were sneaking out at night, and some of them were runaways from home, or some of them were just hanging out late, sneaking out. That's what teenagers do. They were teenagers. They were kids. I did our mall scheme, recognizing a celebrity shopping in the mall and bringing it to the attention of other shoppers. From that, Robert signed a few autographs and took a few phone numbers. So he would sign autographs, give out phone numbers, and take phone numbers. They were young, no doubt, and like kids, they were excited over R. Kelly, which made them gullible. I think they were being promised something, which is why they were at the studio on the regular. Now, all of this he's saying was happening before he said that he was going to be producing them. Because later on he explained why the girls were there, and that's because he was producing them, working with them, trying to help them get careers and get started. Now he says, I couldn't see Robert changing. He had shown me signs that he really didn't care about anyone except himself. My feelings for him were changing. He was changing, and I was starting not to like him as a person. To me, everything about him was fictitious. He was just a fictional character in a storybook. So, okay. R. Kelly didn't join us. He entertained his guest in the dressing room. Public announcement, the dancers, the band, Cheryl Cobb, Salt and Pepper, as well as Spinderella, their whole crew, and me were all having what James Brown called a funky good time. Because being that R. Kelly wasn't there, they were allowed to mix and mingle with everyone at that concert at the time. I forgot what it was. They had an after party or something like that. I forgot what it was exactly. Now he says, these young ladies were glamorous, beautiful, and intellectual, and they were all in college. He's talking about the girls that were at R. Kelly's uh, um, when they would go to the club, you know. These young ladies were glamorous, beautiful, and intellectual, and they were all in college. It was fun being around them. At times we would meet at a club. He says, I thought about it taking the money. This is about the money that he stole. He said, I thought about it taking the money. I was hurting inside from the thought that I felt that I had to do it. I looked inside of his wallet and saw that he had a bunch of $100 bills. I got angry all over again. I took $200 out of his wallet and put his wallet back where I had found it. Remember, he found it on the bar stool on the table. While Robert was recording, I wandered into the lounge area of the studio. I noticed Robert's wallet sitting on the table. The stupid jerk had left his wallet out in the open. Normally, I would have grabbed it and taken it to him, but here it was. I was hurting and felt I was backed up against into a corner. That's when he was thinking about taking the money. He did take the money. Prior to that day, I was the one that read everything to Robert. He had me review contracts, writers, and banking correspondence. Robert would even look at pictures in magazines, and if he saw something he was interested in, he would ask, what this say here, Johnny? It was without question, I'd take the time needed for him to help him to understand. So he was the one who was reading articles for him and doing all these things when it came to reading things for him. Now, when we got home, the drama over Aaliyah began. Rob was on the phone with me constantly. Where are you, Johnny? I need you with me, man. Aaliyah told her family about the marriage, he said. I had already figured she would. So Aaliyah wound up telling her parents about the marriage. That's how they found out. Our crew consisted of R. Kelly, Public Announcement, and R. Kelly's brother Bruce. Robert wanted me to use Bruce as my assistant, and then there were the girls. Not the dancers. They hadn't been hired as of yet. These were the young girls that hung out at rehearsals and at the studio. They were part of the crew. Okay? He was explaining who was part of the crew. It was R. Kelly, Public Announcement, R. Kelly's brother, and the girls. Not the dancers. The other girls. Tiffany and them. I was obsessed with wanting to do whatever to help this kid make it. I was his biggest fan. He was a star in my book. While other people had to be convinced, I was giving my all when he didn't have anything, and there was nothing promising to say that for sure he would be a successful with his music. We were on the same page when it came to everything with the young lady. We were on the same page when it came to entertaining the young ladies. We just couldn't do it. They just weren't on our level of maturity. And we just simply had nothing in common. They were silly, young, and immature. I was simply not into hanging around kids. Demetrius wasn't hanging around kids. He wasn't with it. R. Kelly wanted to hang around these kids. He couldn't get with it. He couldn't get with it, he says. So he says. He says, I don't know what it is with Robert that would not allow him to aid and assist the people close to him. He didn't seem to want any of his crew to come up. It was as if he thought he was doing that he was going to have competition. That's why he didn't bring anybody else up, because he felt like there was going to be competition. And he don't like competition. He's too jealous. Word of the incident got to Jive Records executives, and the next day, Robert's money was replaced. Remember about the money being stolen. I felt like he had gotten over on Jive Records. I knew I took $200. So either he was lying about someone taking $700, or somebody else came behind me and took money out of his wallet. Because R. Kelly complained to Jive Records saying that somebody stole his money out of his wallet and that he had $700. Now, Demetrius knows he took $200. The extra $500, he don't know where that went. But then again, he says, I don't know if R. Kelly could be lying, or maybe somebody else did come and take out money. He says, after rehearsals, we would all gather around and talk, and then we'd go our separate ways. Robert, the girls, Tori, the DJ Mouse, and Dre of Public Announcement would all go up to Robert's apartment. So Dre from Public Announcement was hanging out with these girls, with Tori and DJ Mouse and Robert. Now, whenever I would say something to the girls, I would say things like, it's too late for you all to be out. You should be home. It was getting very uncomfortable having these girls around. I knew Aaliyah couldn't hold back from her mother what she had done. That's when she told her mother about the marriage. I don't think he looked at Tia or the other girls as being underage girls. Hell, they hung out like young women when they came around the studio. We read that already. Now he says, R. Kelly, the name was pussy to me. I was having thoughts of fucking him up. He was Robert Kelly, bigger than the image they were trying to make of him. His ego was getting bigger and bigger. Whenever I would say something to the girls, okay, we already said that. Okay. Now, this was something interesting I seen. I read this and I was like, wow, really? Because there was another story. Now, he's talking about R. Kelly here. He says, the boy, meaning R. Kelly, was shot with a BB gun while outside playing with his brother Bruce. At least that's how his brother Bruce told it to me. Nonetheless, he was making me feel as if he was punking me, and in all realness, I wanted to kick his ass. So Bruce Kelly said that R. Kelly got shot with a BB gun. It wasn't a real gun. When he shot himself, it wasn't a real gun. It was a BB gun. Now, a Jive rep brought Robert an envelope of which After singing for it, Robert quickly pocketed that fat envelope. "What was that you signed?" I asked. He says, "They said it was per diem." "That's right. That's it, right? Per diem? Money for me to eat? Per diem?" I said it right, didn't I? Was the way he put it. He was really asking, trying to make sure he signed the right papers. Even though I didn't have any money, I felt like it was coming. I was eating steak, shrimp, and making phone calls here and there. We were going shopping. Robert was buying video cameras, clothes, whatever else he wanted. It seemed like the sky was the limit. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Okay. All right. So we're at 2.5 hours. I'm going to leave it here. I don't want to make it too long. All right. Hey, Lady Vanya. What's up, mama? Hey, Tears. What's up, baby? Who else is in the building? Who else jumped in here? Hey, what's up, Karen A? I believe I said hi to her too. Yes. Sharice. Yes. Okay. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to leave it here. We are on 291. I'm going to leave it here, and we're going to come out with a part 3 another day, okay? Yes, you're very welcome, guys. This is why I haven't been on since my last live, because I've been in the background reading the book and just taking out parts that I felt were just like important parts of showing parts of R. Kelly's life where they spoke about the girls, you know, because he spoke about a lot about the girls in this book and himself. So I didn't want to, you know, mingle the two. I just wanted to know the most important details about R. Kelly and the girls and certain things of the way he treated his people he worked with, as well as the girls that he had around him and his entourage and things like that. And I thought that his book has a lot of important information. So, yeah. She said that book made me more upset than surviving R. Kelly. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Yeah, like this book, girl, it gets deeper. Listen, I haven't even gotten to... Listen. It gets better, okay? It gets better. So, guys, I don't know if I'll probably wind up coming on tomorrow. If I get a chance, I will come back. All right. I don't know if it'll be in the daytime or the nighttime, but I will be back to continue with part 3. All right. So, guys, if you want to donate to the channel, you already know. You can cash at me $, Diva Divine Light. Donations are very, very appreciated. I do have some bills that need to be paid. Yes, yes, yes. And you can PayPal me as well, or you can Zelle. The information scrolling on the bottom of your screen. For those who are here in real time with me and on the replay, please make sure you hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. For those that are here, remember, don't forget to hit that like button, okay? Guys, you want to leave your comments, please tell me what you think about this book and certain things that I have read here today. All right. Make sure your comments are respectful in the chat, in the comment section. And if I respond, I respond. Sometimes I like to respond. Sometimes I just like your comments. So please do leave a comment. All right. Guys, that was real. Part 3 will be tomorrow or another day, God willing. And your girl, Diva Divine Light, is out. Peace.
You are watching Diva Divine Light, light, light.
You can fuck with me if These is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick. Cut every nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch. I make bloody move. Now she say, gon' do what or who? Let's find out and see. Cardi B, you know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the game so much, I know they tired of me. Honestly.